Welcome to the Barkada Podcast. I'm your host, Marlon Abbas, and we're here at Beckets with Kris Larson.
Hi.
What's up, friend?
Not much. Good to see you again. It's been a minute since we did this.
Good to see you. Yeah, I'm trying to think, and it's actually been a minute since I've done an episode.
Even better. Happy to help.
So happy to get 2024 rolling with you, which is pretty nuts that we're all the way to March, nearly.
Kind of nice.
But we got an extra day today.
Yep, that's true. This is the extra day.
Yeah, happy Leap Day.
So we do this once every 4 years, you and I.
We should.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's more than that. But yeah, speaking of Leap Day, it's Tyrese's birthday, right?
Yep.
Tyrese Halliburton's.
Yep.
Yeah. His sixth birthday, the youngest NBA star
That's a
ever.
good point. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. He's been blowing up, man. And it's cool whenever he's like being interviewed, he gives shout outs to Oshkosh.
It's so fun to watch. And it's fun that people are talking about Oshkosh basketball, something you and I care about, because we do.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, shout out to you, Tyrese. Happy birthday. Fellow Oshkosh North Spartan for you,
Yep.
right?
Same.
Yeah.
Alma mater, you bet.
Nice. Yeah. What else is going on here in town? There's a lot of Oshkosh sports going on. I think Lourdes has got a sectional game tonight, the girls.
That's a big one. Yep.
And then the boys just won their first regional on last night, Tuesday.
Yep. UW Oshkosh girls.
Yeah.
Are right now also, I think, right this weekend.
Yeah.
Is that those big games?
Yep. And then Oshkosh North and West got their stuff going on too. So
Yep. It's all good stuff. Basketball. Let's
good.
go.
Hoops.
Heard tomorrow. Heard Saturday.
Yeah. Man, that season just flew by too.
It's crazy.
What year is this now for them?
I think it's 6, right?
Is it 6?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
5 or 6. This might be 5.
Yeah.
But we've been there since day one, you and I.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. All this COVID stuff kind of throws us off a little bit.
True. True.
Yeah.
Not for a while, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, for those listening and for those watching, we're here at Beckett's with Kris. I love your place, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know it's mutual. I love your place.
Yeah. How long has it been now?
This is year 16.
Year 16. This summer, it's going to be 16?
This is the end of our 16th year.
Okay.
Crazy.
Oh, geez. That's crazy.
Yep.
You have,
seems like forever.
You're almost an empty nester.
Something like that. Well, you're 11th, 10 year, 11 years?
Yeah, we're in year 11. It'll be 12 in September.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
Isn't that fun?
It is. And I remember the first summer when you guys opened up too, before like you got the restaurant space open, you guys had your grills out and stuff, right? Like
it was a fun game. We were young self-promoters. We did everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was cool. Like we're like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, it was probably, I don't know how legal it was, but nobody will remember except for you. But before we were open, we set up a grill on this patio and brought some burgers to people boating by just to raise awareness. It was a lot of fun. It certainly wasn't to raise money, but it was fun.
Yeah. You guys do something fun too for like the very first boater that comes in, right?
We have forever just bought a round of drinks for the first boater. Could be today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anybody kind of
fishing this week?
Fishing?
This week, since the water's all open, there's been fishermen like crazy.
If they only knew.
All right.
To be the first ones.
Yep.
They could
People
have a
know.
drink. Yeah.
People know.
Okay. Then what else? Have you had anyone sitting out in the patio yet?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what was the temperature yesterday? 2 days ago, 75 degrees. So yeah, plenty.
That's nuts. Yeah. Yeah. Great spot, man.
We'll take it.
And I don't know if I shared this with you. When Patricia and I got engaged, our dinner with friends ended up turning into like we just got engaged.
Sweet.
So we headed out and what do you call that room up in front?
The circular shaped one?
Yeah.
We call it the circle room.
Oh, circle room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Circle and cube, as you can tell.
Easy enough.
Super creative.
Yeah. So what else is going on? How's Wagner going?
Wagner's good. It's so much fun. I mean, it's not in our wildest dreams do we think that would work as well as it does.
Yeah.
I mean, you know a lot about it because you know me and we've talked about it, but
yeah.
Everybody, I think, well, I don't know. Do I presume people watching know everything about everything? Not really.
Maybe not.
So this is the restaurant. We own a grocery store down the road. That's year 9 already there,
9.
Which is crazy too.
And it's on my birthday, by the way.
Is it really?
10/22. So I'm always like wishing you a happy anniversary.
Yes.
Like, what?
But I don't know, how would you describe Wagner? For people who don't know. I have answers, but I'm never sure if I'm right.
Yeah. I don't know if you like my description, but I would think it's like a fun, hip, like boutique type of like grocery that you can find almost anything there.
I'm along the same lines. We would call it a a high-end bodega, but it's a neighborhood grocery at the same time. But bodegas aren't around here, so people don't know what that means necessarily.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a if you don't know, it's a butcher shop and a deli, and we've got 800 types of craft beer and a bunch of wine, and lots of scratch deli things to grab and go, sandwiches, salads, that kind of stuff. I have a hydroponic farm in the basement, so we grow our own lettuce downstairs. Yeah. And it's just kind of it is corner grocery for the 20th century, would be the other way to put it.
Yeah. That's always fun. The kids love going there too.
Everybody seems to. I mean, we're very lucky and blessed that it's that well received. And that credit goes to my wife, Sarah, and Chef Mike, who operate that. I'm primarily here, but they're really, really good at it. And my job, I joke all the time, my job over there is plumber and carpenter. So that's what and photographer. So those are the roles I have there. But they're really good at it. And the public just seems to love it. So it's been really great.
Yeah.
And as a point of pride, I mean, the decision in the first place was we're restaurant people, and that's a great way, as you know. It's nice to be able to say, look, here's what we do here, and if you're not eating out, here's other food that we like, and then people can go buy it to cook at home. So it's a cool thing to go with owning a restaurant, I guess, for me.
Yeah. Have you guys had to change much since you guys opened, or you just kind of try things just like you would here at the restaurant and stuff?
It's similar to restaurants. I mean, that's the most fun part about restaurants, right? Somebody asked me a billion years ago, what's the biggest failure in the restaurant thing? I'm like, who fails in a restaurant? If something doesn't work, you just do something else, right? And it's a great concept. That's what makes it fun. So I think lots of that happens as well, but it's such a small space, and there's not really room to store anything, so there's no backstock. So the things that we're selling at that grocery store, you see them all, right? There's nothing hiding anywhere. Yeah. So constantly getting new and fun and exciting things in makes it really exciting all the time, and that helps a lot. Yeah. I mean, you see new things in there every time you're in there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. You have some fun creative marketing ideas and stuff with Wagner, and even here. But like you're hitting home for like our generation with like your upside down W for MTV, right?
So I'm very bad at Photoshop, but I think I'm really good at Photoshop. So I got on this kick to reconfigure band logos into W's and M's. Yep. And that one just works really well.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man.
It's fun. I mean, that's minimal skills you have that you can apply to stuff are helpful, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You can relate to some of that. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, actually, because you played in a band for a long time. You're a musician also.
Yeah.
How many of the things that you learned being a musician applied to your life as a restaurateur? Some.
Yeah.
Sometimes lots, right? That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. I mean, I always use this as a fun example. Like one of our first Pandora's Groove gigs that we had was over at then Fratello's. We're out on the patio. Yep. And, we're playing. We're a bunch of college kids, with steel pans and playing all this like soca music and fun stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then our friends came up to us, one of our set breaks, and like, man, you guys sound really, really awesome, but you guys look miserable.
Right.
Like at that point,
it's a thing.
We didn't know like how we were supposed to be, but we also were taking in that feedback from people, and we're like, hey, you're absolutely right.
Life lessons.
Yeah. So
what year were you playing there? Let's divulge how old we are for a second.
So that early 2000s for sure.
Okay, because I came a subsidiary of a band I played in came back for summers to play there for years. So I bet you we were alternating dates.
Okay.
But mine was like this acoustic project that was all covers. Okay. Which fit in perfectly on that patio. Where you were doing actual cool stuff, we were doing dumb covers. But it was also had the worst band name ever. We were called the Kip Winger Project.
Oh, it's so bad. Well, it probably got some people to be like,
that would have been like...
What kind of music do these guys play?
Right. And it was bad 70s folk cover stuff. But that would have been like 1995. 6 or 7 probably.
Okay.
In that neighborhood, so in the same boat.
Right on. Right on. Man, even while we're on the Fratello's topic, like you started over there too, right?
Yeah, as a busboy. And then I docked boats.
That's kind of the same path that I went, and that I don't remember if we did work together, but we probably did.
So I think I was there almost right when they opened. Yeah. But I was truly a busboy. That was my job.
And I started there when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure we crossed paths back then.
Probably.
I wish our memory was a little bit better. But
yeah, right. You never...
It's like, I think
it's easy to forget things when you work in the service industry in your early 20s.
Yeah, for sure.
With Sam.
Yeah. So, we got some stuff coming up for you. April.
Yeah,
right.
So this is City Council.
City Council.
Important stuff, I think.
Yeah.
It's always a fascinating process, and for good reason. You have more perspective than lots of people because you and I work together
for sure
on a volunteer basis on some boards anyway, and we have some similar cares because we work downtown in the same ways. But it's definitely a thing. It takes up some time right now, and it's a compelling process.
So how was your first experience? Was that when you were running for mayor? Was it 2 years ago now?
I think it was. Was it 2 or it would have been
something like that?
3, yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah. How was that? How was it experience for you? How did you decide to get into that?
So that was a lot different. In full disclosure, that was the intent. Then was more about just facilitating change in general. I liked the mayor at the time. I like that mayor now. Lori is still a friend. So it wasn't necessarily for me to be mayor, but it was to get other people elected to council and to raise some issues. So not that one was more or less serious than the other, but my degree of unsatisfaction with how rapidly things are going has progressed since then rapidly. And I really want to have a seat at that table because the things you and I talk about with downtown are not getting done fast enough for me anymore. It used to be that I thought I could affect that change and be effective without being elected.
Definitely.
I think you need me to help do the things you want in that position to make them happen more quickly.
Yeah.
So this is a very dedicated and principled, and it's a unique approach. And I'm not doing the fun I'm in public, look at me thing. I'm talking about difficult issues and hoping to have a good conversation about them so that we can keep doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question exactly. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't a serious thing previously, because it was also.
No, I think that's great that you're doing this because I think you speak for a lot of us that say that there are issues or we want change, but our voice, I guess, can be heard, but
it's hard to say out loud, right? It really is, and that's part of it. That's part of it's not even fun to say that's part of the problem, but that's part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah. So that's awesome, and you have such a unique approach to how you are going about like your campaign too, right?
So it's been called non-traditional. I think that's probably the case.
Yep. And I think for the number of votes that you got, the first time around, I thought, wow.
Because I didn't do anything the first time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I answered all the same questions. It showed up at the same places. But this is actively trying to engage people every minute I can, which is great.
Yeah.
But there are also, to that point, this will get really long if we get way in the weeds on this, but I think the job that we're talking about of city councilor is to be the representative for you, who's not a city councilor, right? Mm-hmm. That to me is the number one job, is to reply to your emails, to pass on your things to the city council, to the city staff, and to be that conduit between the two people. Since last time and now, there are also probably more pertinent issues that need to be addressed in a different manner, and that's why else this is more important this time, I think.
Right on. So how many seats are available right now?
3 available and 5 people running.
Okay. Anybody up for re-election?
Nope. None of the incumbents are staying.
Okay.
Which is a fascinating process also.
Okay. Yeah.
So a big change. That'll be that's not the majority, but 3 new people out of 7.
Yeah. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more, and I think by having a friend in the race kind of opens up the doors to being.
It makes you pay attention for sure.
Paying attention and being a little bit curious as to how the process goes. Like, is there an opportunity for people to meet all 5 of you together, or is it kind of?
Yes and no. So there were a couple of things we did here early on between some of us. There's a League of Women Voters Forum next week, which you'll be able to come to City Council Hall and watch if you want to, or watch on TV, which is great. And that's answering questions in a forum kind of setting.
Yeah.
There's one here which you can come to, everybody should come to on the 11th. That is about housing primarily, hosted by a group called Esther that does great work. Okay. So that's another time where you can just listen to people answer questions. But no, there has not been an opportunity to sit in a room and talk with all 5 people.
Cool.
And there should be.
Yeah.
But it's also time consuming and people like to do their own thing. So.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, like where people should understand, like, I think council seats are still a very, very important thing within our city structure, right?
One of the most, and that's again, we could spend the rest of the day here talking about some of these things, but that's another great starting point of a question, because there's always, every cycle there's a debate about, is this the correct form of government? So city council and city manager, that's what we have. And like I described, the way that's supposed to work to me is the councilors are the go-between between the general population and city staff, and Mark Roloff, who's the city manager.
Yep.
So somebody's got to be able to have those conversations, and that's what the councilors do. They make decisions on your behalf and pass along the things you want. Every so often, and now is that time, where there's a push again to reevaluate that to some degree and see if an elected mayor that has the powers of a city manager is better, if there are aldermanic positions, so I might be your neighborhood rep instead of your at-large for the whole city rep. Those things come up every time. And to your point, not to give you a really long answer, but what I keep repeating, and I'm going to repeat it again loudly in type form next week, but whichever form of government you have in a city this size, I don't think that matters if the people elected aren't talking to you or listening to you. So we sort of break down on some of those fronts right this second, and it doesn't matter what form of government we have. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. So what's the best way for people to show their support for you?
I am the non-traditional part on the face of what I'm doing is that I'm not courting dollars. I'm not taking donations. I'm not really spending very much money. A little bit of my own just to get some of the word out. But I'm on social media, and that's where I do lots of my work, and that's where I'm typing many things. My website is really easy to remember. It's voteoshkosh.com. That is just me. You can read lots of words there. And sharing those things is great if you like what I'm saying. But more important than the thing I keep preaching, and you're going to hear me say it about 24 more times between now and April, is the most important part of this process, Marlo, for you and for everybody else, is that you vote first. And then second, that you engage after you voted. I'm going to do a great job if you need an engaged person, but you should vote for whichever person you think will do that best for you. So I'm not a vote for me kind of guy. I'm a here's the things. But if everybody doesn't start voting more and being engaged in the process after the election, nothing we do is going to matter. Yeah. I can tell you all the cool things I will do until I turn blue in the face, and it won't make any difference.
Yep. I mean, that's just the biggest thing. I think, both you and I, just our experiences just navigating through social media, like getting those people online, right?
Right.
Got to sit there and complain without coming up with an acted solution.
Yeah, and it sometimes is not even fully understanding the situation. I mean, the debate we're having right now about whether or not we should or should not have an elected mayor is a perfect example. Have you read anything about this yet?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So the current mayor, and I've gotten a lot of flack for saying this, but I'll say it again because it's important that we have the conversation. Current mayor is proposing that we no longer have a position called mayor because it's the same position as councilor.
Yeah.
That's all he's saying. And then we would have to elect somebody to run the meetings, a council president. Not elect, appoint.
Yeah.
So there'd be a secretary position and there'd be 7 councilors. All 7 councilors would be elected. Every newspaper article I've read about this almost, the Herald did a great job, but there's lots of reporting about this that says that council is trying to create a position that they appoint that the public doesn't get to vote for. I know.
Let's just read into it.
But it's not funny. The laughing is the right response, but that's how this is being perceived, and that could not be further from the truth. Yep. And where I get frustrated is why Matt, who's the current mayor, is suggesting that. Part of why is that at current, if you're a councilor and I'm the mayor, and you're not up for re-election, you can run for my seat when it is. And if you win, then guess what happens? Then council appoints your seat from the general public. So the only thing we're complaining about happening in what Matt's proposing can only happen with the way we have it being done currently.
Yes.
It's mind-numbing, is it not? I mean, and it's just so hard to explain sometimes, and it's because it's an interesting concept, but we collectively get so quickly in the weeds on it because it's not explained appropriately.
Yeah, and I think with the way that things are set up within our city, it is set up differently from other places.
It is extremely unique to have an elected mayor that does not have any special powers.
So it could be, and it is confusing to maybe somebody in the outside to be like,
that is the root of the confusion. Yes.
Like, what do you actually do?
Correct.
Like, you have the same amount of...
Right, and then why do we spend extra dollars and time and effort electing somebody separate from everybody else when they're the same?
Yep. Yeah.
And again, and I'm not trying to make less of the conversation than it should be. And the people opposing it or the people on the other side of the discussion are not incorrect, but it's not being explained very well. And people love to get up in arms about it without fully understanding it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And any answer is great.
For sure. So if you get elected, then how long do you sit on the...
It's a 2-year term.
2-year term?
Yep.
Would you seek out re-election then, or...
That's a good question.
Is 2 years enough for you?
2 years is enough for me. I honestly would rather not do it at all because I'd like to go back to a decade ago when you and I were 10 years younger, A, to start with, because that'd be awesome. But B, when we were younger and on the bid board and we felt like we could get everything accomplished for downtown, and this isn't just about downtown, but I think we had more success a decade ago than we do now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how long it takes.
Yeah.
I don't intend to stay there forever, but I would like to see actual meaningful progressive change happening here.
For sure.
While maintaining the same, I mean, we're really good at fiscal stuff. We're really good at budgeting stuff. We're really good at managing debt as a city, but we're not really good at thinking about what happens 10 years from now. About what you need to do now to make sure that we're equally as good 10 years from now. That's the hard part.
Yeah, and we could start a list of all the cool things that we're ready to roll.
Correct.
And just never happened for whatever reason.
You and I know lots of them. They're good examples forever and what we've gotten done. I mean, my favorite example of late was just blade signs for downtown. Cool little small signs.
For sure.
But people think that that's easy, and it should be easy. But you and I know that it took 18 months to get a little piece of the permitting thing changed so that people could hang up a 1 foot by 1 foot sign outside their business.
Yes.
It should not be that difficult.
Yep.
It just shouldn't.
And the mural stuff too. That was another point.
If you couldn't hear my blood pressure go up, it just went way up. But now it's the good news is we've gotten a lot better at public art, and now it's easier to do.
Definitely.
That alone will make your podcast full of negative comments, by the way.
Hey,
murals are divisive. It's a thing.
Yeah. So what else is good, man?
Go ahead.
How are your fur babies?
The dogs are always good.
Yeah. How old are they now?
It's like 9 and 11, which is hard to believe.
Man,
I know.
really?
Isn't that crazy?
I just remember them as little pups.
They still act like little pups.
Yeah.
It's hard if you get. I don't think we'll ever get two that close to the same age ever again because they're both just rambunctious all the time.
Yeah.
But they're good dogs.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love like when you share their pictures and stuff like out in the patio or.
They're good for social media.
Yeah.
They're attractive fellas.
What kind of dogs are they again?
One's an Australian Shepherd, mini Australian Shepherd. I'm an apartment dweller, so I can't have big Australian Shepherd is too big for where I live.
Yeah.
And the other one's something called an Alaskan Kleekai, a miniature Alaskan Husky.
Oh.
So it looks like a husky, acts like a husky, incredibly stubborn, does his own thing, hates everybody, but he's only 30 pounds.
Nice.
Which is good. Good sized dog.
Yeah, very cool.
He's called Bill, by the way.
Bill?
Yeah.
Bill and...
Wagner.
It's
named before the grocery store, for that matter.
Oh, nice.
Of all things.
Very neat. Mm-hmm. Well, now that things are getting warmer too, we got the slow roll coming up, right?
Yeah, I should probably get on that, shouldn't I? Good reminder.
I was going to ask, like, do you have the locations picked out yet, or?
We have a list and nothing finalized yet.
Okay.
We haven't been by you for a long time.
Yeah.
We probably should do that.
That'd be fun.
Because it's hard to. Those aren't meant to be just downtown centric, but downtown works so good for bike riding because there's just great places to ride bikes.
Yeah.
That starts in May, doesn't it? I really got to get a list together.
Yeah. It's only a couple months starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah. May. All right.
And that's
look at that. Third Tuesday?
Yeah, it's always
third Tuesday.
It's always during our bid, the day of our bid meetings. So
third Tuesday of every warm month, as we say.
Yeah. That's been going on now for...
I think it's 6 or 7 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think we were averaging 200 riders the last couple of years, which is also nuts.
Yeah. What has been the biggest turnout one?
I'm guessing I think the Gibson was because it was their grand opening.
Oh, right.
And there was a taco truck. No, it was the Jay's Barbecue was there.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 470 riders. It was outrageous.
Yeah.
But there have been a couple that have been over 400 and a few in the 300 range.
Like the EA ones.
EA was really big too. Yep.
And even though it's cold,
Christmas was great.
The Christmas one, right?
Which maybe we'll have to figure out if it happens again because Celebration of Lights is staying at EAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes me sad as an East Sider, but is what it is.
I know. And then, people got in a routine of stopping at Beckets or at Manila.
Mm-hmm. And then, it is definitely different without it.
Before or after.
I
taking a
understand
ride
the
through
appeal
there
out
and
of
stuff.
the AA too, though, because it's easy to get to and because it's big and beautiful. I didn't see it. Did you see it?
Yeah, we went through there. Yeah, it was good. And it was crazy, I think, because we live on the south side of town, and sometimes we take the Plainview exit.
True. It's on your way home. Sure.
And Patricia said that there was a line stretching out, I don't know how long on the frontage road.
Yep.
So I guess in that respect, it's set up nicely. And there goes our
Oh,
sign.
I knew it was coming. Sorry. Now we're going to look way worse.
It'll be all right. Yeah. Anything else that you want to share with us?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. We could do council-type issues all day long, every day.
I bet.
We don't have to do all of them.
Sure. Yeah. Let me know if you ever want to get together again before the big day.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll keep talking. But this would be a good way to pass along information, too.
For sure. So April
2nd.
April 2nd. That is the first Tuesday.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And then the polls open
I should have looked, but yeah, I'm sure it's very
7 or
early.
8, something like that.
And early voting is now. You can go to the city website to figure out where there's a new location to early vote down on, what's the cross street, do you know? It's,
cross street between City Hall?
No. It's off on Main Street. Go to the city website and you'll find where you can early vote, right downtown.
Yeah. Right on.
But yeah, I don't know what else. There's lots of things and not enough things.
Yeah. Music.
Yeah.
You guys picking things back up again?
We're doing, so this used to be, we're still every Wednesday.
Okay.
But we were every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for like a decade straight, and that's a lot of live music.
Yes.
So now we're just filling in some weekend stuff of 3 or so shows per month other than Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So lots.
Yeah.
Great quintet here tomorrow night, which would be crazy good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I do have to ask you.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any new habits since that little thing happened? In
From
terms of
restaurant stuff?
Yeah, consumer habits. When people stop coming in. I feel like our rush is
a good question.
I feel like our rush usually
Earlier?
stops at 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, maybe people are less staying out. I mean, we do way more carry out than before, but everybody does. That's just the nature of the thing.
Yep.
But no, that's a good question. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Are you guys still on any delivery platform or anything like that?
Yeah, we love DoorDash.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you on any or no?
No, we're just doing our own thing.
Okay.
But you're just with DoorDash?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the one.
We had good luck with Food Dudes.
We did.
They blast from the past, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just us, but we just ran into some issues where it was just kind of out of our hands, and we just wanted to take a little bit more control over it, and
that's why we
correct issues if we.
That's why we switched. So most of the time we turn ours off. It's on. I mean, if you tried to order and you can't, I'm sorry. But when we're busy here, we just shut it off.
Yeah.
Which
makes
is
sense.
weekend nights. It's almost never on. So
yeah,
it's easy to control it, and it's a good. I mean, I think it's great that people have that option, and for restaurants like ours that can make it work, I wouldn't do it if it was. There are some bad fits for that kind of delivery.
Yeah,
the things we have offered on there are good things that travel pretty well. Yeah, so it works out pretty well.
That's good. And then you'll be open on Sundays again soon.
Yep, starting Easter.
Is that a set time that you guys will shut down on
Sundays? Typically October through whenever Easter falls.
Okay.
And a lot of that, believe it or not, is football driven because, as you can imagine, we are not exactly a Packer bar.
Yeah.
So Sundays we just don't compete very well with football.
Yep.
So that's one of the things we learned through the pandemic was it's great to not be open Sundays. It works out perfectly.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too. I think.
Are you open Sundays?
No, we're not.
Are you open Monday? Yes.
Monday we were, but since the pandemic, no.
Okay.
We're working on kind of building up our staff again, where we can do something like that. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice just to. Even if we're open in the evening, just to have that as an option. Just because it's a partnership, right, with everyone else downtown. Yep. Just being able to bring people here and just have different options and choices and stuff.
That's very well put. The more things there are open, the more reasons there are people to come downtown. The more people come downtown. That's how it works.
And excited for the hotel to wrap things up. I know
it's going to be great pretty soon.
But hopefully, I think April they're looking at getting it done. So
I mean, you remember back as do I, when that was not a good hotel, right? And how crazy it was to be down here with a hotel nobody wanted to stay in.
Yeah.
So think of how lucky we are now that it went through one huge renovation and became something awesome.
Yeah.
And is now doing even more than that to become something more awesome. It's gonna be great.
It's crazy. It didn't seem like that too long ago, where they just revamped everything there.
But it was 8 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In that neighborhood. And I'm super excited. And Ground Round was great. Don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for a new restaurant neighbor down here. That'll be something more like what we do, I think.
Yes.
Which will be great.
Yeah.
So that's what we need on the river for sure.
Definitely. When I was at the West Side Association meeting, what's the GM's name?
David. Yeah.
David.
Yeah. He's great.
He read the description of what they wanted the restaurant to be, and he's like, "It sounds good, right?"
Yeah.
But he's like, "We'll see what happens." You know,
I think it'll be awesome.
It's all conceptual right now. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't doubt for a minute that it won't be anything but great. So
I think so too. And then a new restaurant coming in the Northwestern building also, you realize.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I think remember the list we made on our 10th anniversary here about how many new downtown businesses and restaurants there are?
Yep.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, to think that in 2008, we weren't here, you weren't here, Ruby wasn't here, 430 wasn't here, Gardina's wasn't here, the hotel wasn't there. I mean, there's 15 new restaurants in the last 12 years downtown.
Yeah.
And that's all of them.
Yes.
It's crazy good.
Yes.
I'm not taking any credit for it, but maybe I'm just kidding.
Well, you did.
You are.
Well,
we both. I mean, we're both early.
Yeah. I mean, you were a big start of it, because I mean, you saw a need for something to be here, where you guys are, which is, I think, a great bridge between Main Street and university.
Sure, and everything else. For that matter. Yeah.
It's nice to see everything kind of close in a little bit more together.
Yep.
Like, we got the co-op there.
Yep.
There's Mad Chicken now.
Yeah. I haven't been there yet. Have you? I hear it's awesome. My employees go there.
But
It looks great.
Yeah. I hear they're open late, so maybe that'd be like, I'm hungry. Go there, swing by.
But yeah, I mean, but that's a lot of progress in one downtown in a decade, which is great.
Yep. Well, I hope that we get things moving, and
we're gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah, and that you find a seat on the council and everything.
We'll do my very best, and I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah, and I look forward to continue working side by side. We're on the bid board.
Yep.
And WRA.
Yeah, but WRA, I think I'm almost done, kinda.
Really?
Why don't it's hard because I was chair last year. I'm current past chair, so I have a role now.
Yeah.
And then I don't really have a role anymore. But it's been 14 years. It's a long time to be on a board.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's emeritus for life. I get that. But
sure.
I don't know how engaged I'll be after being as engaged as I was. That's what I'm saying.
You'll take a step back and support in a different way.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
It's crazy that we're rattling off all these, like, you've been doing that for 14 years.
I know. And we're still in our early 30s. It's ridiculous.
Yes. We look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was super fun.
For letting us do this thing here.
It works out great, I think, until the light turned off, and then whatever.
That's okay. The sun just shifted, right?
True.
Like, everything's legit.
Yep.
So
good. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining in, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Barkada Podcast.
Good job.